In the case of peak lock mode, while we create receiver object, we are telling the broker that receiving client want to acknowledge explicitly. In this mode, once the message is delivered from the queue to receiving application to process, there will be an exclusive lock acquired by the receiving client application. The lock duration is something what we configure during the creation of the queue itself. If you could able to recollect from our one of the previous video, while we create a queue, we had an option to set lock duration. And the default value for the lock duration is 1 minute and maximum it could be 5 minutes. For this lock duration, the exclusive lock will be held by the receiving application on a particular message so that the broker will not deliver the same message to any other competing consumers. While receiving application processing the message, if it need more time to process the same message, then it can renew the message lock, because once the lock duration is expired, the receiving application cannot acknowledge the message. If the receiving application did not renew the lock as well as not completing within the lock duration, then it can no more complete the message. As well as the message will be enabled for another receiving application to process. Usually, it's recommended to set the lock duration as little bit more than the time required to process the message. The maximum lock duration what we can set is 5 minutes. So, mostly the renewal of lock duration will be used if the required processing time is more than 5 minutes. The receiving application can explicitly release the log as well. In this case also, the message will be available for another consumer application to process. The number of time the receiving application releasing the lock explicitly or letting the lock expire will increase the delivery count. And once reaching the maximum delivery count that we have set during the creation of the queue, the message will be moved to dead letter queue. Now we'll move to the coding part to understand the peak lock mode. We already have a queue created with no message. You can see there is no message in the queue. We'll go to our sender application. We'll modify a sender application a bit to send a couple of message. And see here just sending the first message, and we are sending the second message, and we are waiting. We'll run our sender. Yeah, first message, second message, both are sent. We go to the queue and we can refresh. Yes, both the messages are sitting in the queue. You can see first message and second message. Now we'll go to the code and we'll stop the sender and we'll go to our receiving application. And yeah, we already have receive and delete mode. We can explicitly change it to peak lock. We can explicitly set it to peak lock, or the default value itself is peak lock mode. Now we are listening. We are just requesting the first message and we are console log. If I just start my receiving application, I got the first message, but the message will not be removed from the queue. You can see both the message will be still in the queue. Both the messages are still in the queue. But the same time, if I start second receiving application pointing to the same queue, I will not get the first message. You can see the second message only is delivered to the second receiving application. That is because first message is already locked by the receiving application one for 1 minute duration. What we have set during the creation of the queue. So now the second message also locked by the second receiving application. Now if I start another receiving application, I won't get anything. I'll be keep waiting because both the messages are locked. You can see we have only two message, both are locked by these two receiving application. Right. So we cannot will not get anything for third receiving application. After a minute of duration, the first message lock will be expired. Then we'll be getting. See, we are getting this. After some time, we'll be getting second message also expired. Then that will be delivered to if any other consumer is requesting. But in this case, none of this message will be removed from the queue because we did not take any action. You can see the both the message will be sitting in the queue. It will be just delivered, and you can see the delivery count is increased as the lock duration is expired. One time the lock duration is expired, you can see the delivery count is increased. And we have received the first message again in the third consumer application. Once after this expires, we'll get another count increased for first message alone. We can just go ahead and refresh, and we can wait for a minute. We should see uh, the count increased for first message. You can see the delivery count increased to 2 for first message, because we let the lock expire couple of time for this message and one time for this message. That's it for this video. We'll see the concept like renewal of lock duration and messaging action like completing, abandoning, and deferring and decluttering the message in detail in our upcoming videos. Thank you for watching, and if you like this content, please do subscribe to support me to grow this channel.